Yeah, eat, sleep, fantasy, you rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs, better follow the conversation with
John,
Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation, we doing what we like. Tune in every week, guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy, football enthusiasts, I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah, Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Eat Sleep Fantasy Football Podcast, also known as the 19 hottest of fantasy football podcasts. My name is Christian Brito.
My name is Jeff.
And joining me as always, actually, I feel like as always, is Mr. John Chapman. What's up, John?
John, I need to talk to you. You motorboating son of a bitch. You old sailor, you.
What's up, man? I feel, as being a former member of the hottest list, that I feel glad to pass the torch this year to the new 19 hottest people.
For those of you unfamiliar, I write a suspiciously homoerotic article every year.
It's not suspiciously. It is. It is straight homoerotic in the best of ways.
In the best of ways. If you go to eatsleepfantasy.com, basically what I do is just type up the best-looking people in fantasy. For some reason, it's all men. I don't know what is going on there, but Dale helped me co-write it this year, so I am not the only one that's a little... Anyways.
Implicated?
Implicated. There we go. But for some reason, the title only says by Christian Brito. Let's add in there that Dale helped me write it, and Austin helped produce and get it up on our website. So all of us are implicated in this weird crime. But, we've got some sexy things in there, such as hair of the year, most likely to start a fantasy football tournament, most likely to bring home to your parents, and, of course, best personality, because that's something you need to have in there.
I'll say this. If you want to laugh, if you haven't laughed today and you're in the middle of an argument with your wife, first off, tell her to just don't do that anymore. Right. Then go to Eat Sleep Fantasy, click on this article, and just laugh your ass off.
Tell
because it's pretty damn
do that
funny.
Anymore.
Yeah, that works for me.
All right. Listen, man, we've got a lot to cover.
Yes,
and not enough time to cover everything that we need to. So I don't want to spend too much time on a joke here. I think we might be dropping audio of what we did to release that 19 hottest. Maybe we'll see. Bonus episode, perhaps. But we have to go over a recap of the Week 2 preseason games. There's a lot to go over before the real game, that is the fake game of Week 3. Week 3 is really the dress rehearsal for preseason football and where we're going to see a lot of takeaways. But Week 2, we get some insight as to the way things are progressing and trending, and so we're going to recap that. I do want to say a big thank you to our friend up north, Canadian Clayton, because I don't know how to say your last name. I'm just going to say Canadian Clayton. It's Cadeau. Clayton Cadeau, or Cadeau, tomato. And you can follow him at Clayton Cadeau, on Twitter. Figure out how to spell that, but it's like the weird French-Canadian spelling where you got some I's and E's and U's and X's in there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think
I'm going to try to spell it off memory, okay? Cadieux.
I believe that's correct. I'm not looking at it now, but yeah, okay. It's something stupid.
All right, something Canadian. I feel like I just paid taxes.
It's too many vowels in a row, and then you can't have an X in your name and end with a oo or O.
Clayton Kudax.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so let's hop right in. We'll get to some of the housekeeping stuff later on in the episode, but since we have so much to cover, let's start with the first game, Arizona Cardinals and the Oakland, soon-to-be Vegas Raiders, whatever, the Raiders. Fuck it. I don't care. Teams need to stop moving because I need to stop remembering where people are. I just want to root against them. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Kyler Murray, kind of in a groove in this game. Raiders brought some pressure, but he looked pretty good, right?
I don't know, man. When he was out there, it wasn't the best. He had almost as many sacks as he had completions, and took a safety. And this is kind of the thing that you have to pay attention to, because nobody in the NFL does 4 wide receivers or what's called 10 personnel, where you have 1 running back, no tight ends. They are committing to this in Arizona in this new air raid system. And what happens is, if you only have 5 guys blocking, and you bring 5 guys and somebody doesn't do their job, your quarterback's going to get hit, or you got to get rid of the ball.
With his mobility, though, are you not like? I feel like I'm not as like. I'm not on the Kyler Murray is going to be a top 5 fantasy receiver. Quarterback. I'm not on that. Jesus Christ, did I need to name any other positions before I get to it? I'm not on the Kyler Murray is going to be great this year, but I think Kyler Murray is going to be serviceable this year. I don't have him as a top 10 quarterback, which I'm seeing people. I think that's a little aggressive. But if you're in a league and people with a lot of newbies, they don't know who Kyler Murray is, and you want a guy that I think is going to have a floor every single week due to the rushing, that's going to be it. Because even in limited action, like, he rushed once, obviously, but we're talking about playing a series or 2, and you already have a rush. Like, if you have a rush every series, it's going to add up over the course of a game and over the course of a season. I think you're going to see Kyler Murray be the second leading rusher on this team probably by the time this year is done. And you add into that, they're going to have that air raid offense. He's going to throw it a lot. I think he'll be good enough as a rookie. There's going to be plenty of mistakes, but he should be good enough to be serviceable all year long.
Yes, and I will say this, his end-of-season numbers are going to be a lot better than his per-game basis, and I think this kind of showed us. If there's a way to stop this offense, and he's going to have a couple bad outings, 1 as a rookie, 2 behind a horrible offensive line, 3, and probably the best thing for him is this defense is abysmal. It might be one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Patrick Peterson's already suspended 6 games. Their other starting corner looks like he's going to be missing a lot of time. So the saving grace for fantasy football players, Arizona's going to be in shootouts, and Hakeem Butler is hurt. So for those deep sleeper dynasty leagues, you got to jump off that bandwagon for this year at least.
Okay, agreed. Let's talk about the next game. We're basically going to give you here. Probably should have prefaced this before. We're going to give you the biggest.
Hold on. One quick thing before we jump to the next game. The Raiders, the one thing that I want to highlight is Josh Jacobs got all 6 snaps, which doesn't sound like a lot, with the entire starting offensive line. The offensive line took 6 snaps, and for all 6 of those, Josh Jacobs was out there. So for those that have been waiting patiently to see who's going to be the number 1 running back, we got the message. It is now officially Josh Jacobs.
Not just number 1 running back, but 3 down back, right?
Correct.
Oh, correct. Okay. Correct. All right, so next game, we're going to give you just basically the biggest takeaways per game. So I really feel like I should have prefaced that to the Cardinals and Raiders. But we got to move fast this episode. There's a lot to cover.
I'm bad about that. It's my fault. He's talking to me specifically. I'll get better.
Got to move fast while I take an enormous pause. Atlanta Falcons and New York Jets. Dude, Matt Ryan. We're probably not talking enough about him because we don't pay enough attention to quarterbacks in fantasy. He's going to have an awesome-ass season, isn't he?
He is. Cutter throws out huge volume on the offensive side. He might have the best fantasy wide receivers in the entire NFL. And, shout out to Armando, he's wrong. And if you are one of those Calvin Ridley believers, that's okay. I'm telling you right now, the starters out there for Atlanta in 2 wide receiver sets, Calvin Ridley was not out there with the first team at all. Mohamed Sanu was out there for all of the 2 wide receiver snaps with the starting team. So
but
that's fine.
Do you have any doubt in your mind that Calvin Ridley will far exceed Marvin? God.
Yes,
will far exceed
Mohamed
Sanu.
Oh, completely. But what I'm saying that this does is this is going to take his snap rate down to where it was last year. We saw this last year. In 2 wide receiver sets, it was Sanu and Julio Jones, and it's looking like that might continue to be the case, which is going to limit the ceiling of the Calvin Ridley truthers out there to, a wide receiver 2. So,
yes, I don't think Calvin Ridley will be the type of receiver where we see a sizable jump in stats from year 1 to 2 because he came out strong in year 1. So if you're expecting a jump, you're not going to see it. I also don't think this is one of those situations where we see much less either. I don't think he's going to take a back seat in any way to Sanu for anything. There will be, yes, sets where he's limited because he's not on the field. You know, like Michael Thomas is going to be on the field over 90% of the snaps over the course of the season. That's probably not going to be Ridley, but he's still going to be just fine. I just don't see the ceiling. He's probably being drafted pretty close to what his value will be. So maybe you're not getting a ton of value with him. If he's a guy that you want to shoot for the fences, probably not your guy.
True.
All right. Do you want to talk about the backup to Freeman, especially since Freeman's been kind of injury prone over the last couple seasons?
He has been, and he only took 6 snaps. They got him in, and they got him out pretty quick. Right. I still really do believe Brian Hill is the best talented back, but they want to stay with Ito Smith. He did get his touchdown in short yardage, so it looks like it's going to be Freeman's 1A. After that, if it's short down yardage, it's going to be Smith. But I think if it's in between the 20s, we're going to see more Brian Hill than we want to. So it's not just a straight handcuff situation like some other teams. Okay. So the Ito Smith, I am definitely moving him down in my ranks. Brian Hill in super deep leagues only, but he's definitely a guy to watch.
Smith did look good in the sense of he got the touchdown and caught the passes. Mm-hmm. Not great on a yards per carry basis. So we'll see. He's fine. I'm optimistic that if Freeman stays healthy, he is going to exceed draft day value because of where he's being taken. It's really just a bet on he returns to form or not. And you've got people that are far on each side of that argument. And we have yet to see. If he's healthy, I think he's going to be a great value, but that's a big if.
Yep, I like it.
Next game here, Baltimore Ravens, Green Bay Packers. I think we're doing good on time. We've only got...
I'm feeling okay.
We've only got 14 more games to cover
so hard
in the next 40-ish minutes. We're behind pace. Let's pick it up. Buck, this is hard. Side note, I drank an energy drink before I did this podcast. If you hear me mess up a lot, it's because I'm trying to get out words quickly and I'm not doing a good job of it. So, Baltimore Ravens, Green Bay Packers. Mark Ingram. Okay, I'm easily distracted. It says he played in 7 saps. What are saps?
Snaps.
Yeah, but it says saps.
Yeah, that was a typo.
Yeah. Thanks, Clayton.
Yeah, do all this hard work and we're going to pay attention to one letter. How dare you, Canadian? Mark Ingram's going to be a beast this year. He just moves forward. He is the perfect fit for this offensive style running game with Lamar Jackson back there. Lamar Jackson looked great. The best play probably of last year, got called back on a penalty, but Lamar Jackson's going to be fine. Mark Ingram's going to be fine. But there is a new name.
Let's talk about this new name.
Justice Hill. He is electric. He is unbelievable. 10 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown, and he's even better in the passing game. So pay attention to that. And then the last thing I want to say, the wide receiver 1 for the Baltimore Ravens is not Marquise Brown, who they drafted in the first round. It is Miles Boykin.
Agreed.
He got every single snap with the starters out there, and they were out there for a while. 21 snaps. He was out there for all of them.
But this is Brown being not healthy, right? That's what it is?
Yeah, and I think once he is healthy, it will be those two. I don't think you take Boykin off the field for Brown. Right. I think Willie Snead, who was out there for a handful of things, also Jalen Smith, Jaleel Scott, a lot of guys rotating, Chris Moore. It's going to be those two guys.
So this is what I want to say about the Ravens in general. Mark Ingram's role is not going to be hurt by Justice Hill. Hill is going to be this year's Tariq Cohen.
Yes, that's exactly what they are trying to do. Very, very similar set. The carries and touches are going to be Ingram's, but Justice Hill is going to find his way into some touches for sure.
And they're going to have packages for him. He'll be in rotations. They're going to try to get him the ball, and Mark Ingram will still get his. I'm actually getting increasingly excited about those two players this year, because I think this team is you're going to see a lot of running, and with a rushing quarterback, it's only going to help that even more, I think. So, and we've seen the stats to demonstrate that in terms of running backs having a higher yards per carry with quarterbacks that run the ball. It's just an additional threat in the backfield. And so I think Justice Hill will definitely have a role carved out. And right now, even though he's climbing up draft boards, I think it's still a value based on what I think he can do this year for that team. And I also think Mark Ingram is as well.
Yep. And I'll say this on the flip side real quick. If we look at the Green Bay Packers, their wide receiver core is solidified. 2 wide receiver sets, Devontae Adams, obviously, but Marquez Valdez-Scantling is going to be the right wide receiver.
Right.
Geronimo Allison is going to be the slot, and he is splitting – sorry about that, I'm doing the same thing as you – splitting time with Kumaro. So Kumaro and Allison are switching kind of the slot role,
right,
and ESB and Scantling are taking the right wide receiver. But Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he is going to I for the majority of the game.
And I am willing to bet you'll also see MVS in the slot at times as well. So I think, and I've been saying this, and if I'm not mistaken, Allison is still being taken in ADP ahead of MVS. I'll say this now.
Major mistake.
That's a mistake. Yeah. It's going to be MVS. It's going to be the most productive there outside of Adams, obviously, who is a top 2 wide receiver for most people. I think MVS will finish the season as a top 36 wide receiver and probably a good draft day value.
Yep.
All right. Bills and Panthers. Who wins in a fight? A Bill, or a Buffalo, or a Panther?
After the video of the Buffalo hitting that little kid, I'm going Buffalo.
Yeah, it definitely depends on what kind of Panther. I'll go Buffalo as well. Just the size and strength.
They're huge.
Yeah. All right, Josh Allen, man. 9 for 11, 102 yards. Looked good, right?
He looked really good, and it was Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley had 6 targets on 13 snaps. One of the targets got called back on a penalty, but he caught all of them, and he looks unbelievable. Cole Beasley looks really, really good. Zay Jones took all the outside wide receiver snaps, but he is going to lose that job once John Brown comes back. They paid him a lot of money. 3 wide receiver sets. It'd be Zay Jones, John Brown, and Cole Beasley. A lot of people were on the Robert Foster train. He is not a starter. He will be a positional guy that rotates in barely. But the guy to own here, I'm telling you, Cole Beasley is basically free. Oh, man. And also you got to talk about the backfield as well. Singletary looked unbelievable. It's going to be crowded halfway through the season. Singletary is the guy to own in Dynasty and probably redraft as well. I think I would prefer to have Singletary over LaShawn McCoy because I think eventually that will be transitioned over.
Not this year.
I think it will this year.
Do you want to make a bet on LaShawn McCoy outscores Devin Singletary this year?
For the year?
For the year.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll play. Let's play. I believe in this.
I want to make a small caveat. I think they still have time to cut McCoy, if I'm not mistaken. So, if McCoy
is cut, then I automatically win? Is that the caveat?
On the Bills week 1, just on the team, not even the start.
This is called limping into a bet. If we were playing poker, I'm pushing all my fucking chips in
all right, fuck it. LaShawn McCoy will outscore Devin Singletary in fantasy for 2019.
I like it. Mark it. You're going down.
I think we have a drop for this. Do we have a drop for this? We'll find out.
Drops are supposed to increase energy and momentum, not what we just did. We are the missed drop of fantasy football.
We are the drops. We have a pass and we just drop it. We lead the league in drops, both sounds and fumbled attempts at catching a ball.
But do you know what doesn't miss the drop? Because this is important.
I'm going to guess Nitrogen Sports.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is legit that we're on the same page on this one thing. Nitrogen Sports is absolutely the best Bitcoin betting site out there on the web. Here's what you got to do. You head over to eatsleepfantasy.com. It's a website. You click on the Nitrogen Sports banner on the very, very front. It takes you to their website, and that is where the fun begins. Listen to this. If you're a little bit hesitant about Bitcoin, don't be. It's so easy to get money in and even easier to get money out of this site because you don't have to go through any of the governmental process and gambling and all those things because Bitcoin goes around all of those different whatevers. So easy to get money in, easy to get money out. You can bet on absolutely everything. And the best part about this is you can do free pools where you don't have to bet anything with a guaranteed payout. So if you want to get started, again, all you got to do a couple free pools, guaranteed payouts if you win those out. So test it out, see what you think. Head over to eatsleepfantasy.com, click on that, and start having a lot of fun. I've been on there too much lately. It is absolutely awesome.
It is really awesome, considering the wide range of everything. Whether, if you're betting nothing, free roll. If you're betting all the way to a Bitcoin and you're a big money baller, cool. If you want to bet on any type of game, you can do that as well. It's just awesome. So go to our website and check it out.
Yes.
Let's talk about this game that Clayton's show notes are sometimes really depressing. And he's like, this is prepped in a way for us to, just to give you kind of a behind the scenes glimpse. It's prepped in a way for us to kind of make commentary. And Clayton's notes on the Bears-Giants game is there was really nothing to take away from the Bears.
Nothing. Just nothing.
Also, I want to talk about the fact that Canadians spell the word offense with a C.
Yeah, there's some differences in just language and education. It's not his fault.
Right.
I say that. I'm a teacher. Our education system's absolute trash in America, but I still got to take a dig.
Yes.
Still got to.
All right.
Yeah,
So
there's nothing
anything you
on the
wanna say
Chicago
about the
side.
Bears? It's just they sat almost all their starters, so there's
He's
not much
part.
to take.
So Nagy seems to be part of the new young coach McVay Shanahan thing of just keeping starters the hell out of preseason, and that's it. He just cares about health. The Giants, if we jump over, holy cow! I mean, Daniel Jones, this guy over there, is just continuing to light up the freaking world. Also of note, Rod Smith seems to continue to get the lion's share of carries with the first team.
Right.
Wayne Gallman, who's been in and out and whatever else, it seems like right now it would be Rod Smith. So
you would
deep
say,
leagues.
the rookie is lighting up the world? Because you light up my world, John.
Aw, that's so nice. I think you're talking about my semen.
Well, under a black light, maybe.
That's right.
That's like
and that's
your
where the
office under a
CSI
black
guy
light.
takes off his glasses.
Anyways.
Sorry.
So let's move to Bengals and Redskins. I think there's more to take away from this game. If you wanted to hear about the Bears and Giants, we are not the show for you.
No, they didn't show much.
Who
I'll
would
say
win
this.
in a fight, a bear or a giant?
I don't know. A giant's so vague.
Just answer the question.
Like
man.
Andre the Giant or a bear? I'm going bear.
Okay, but like, did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Like the giant from Game of Thrones?
Oh, the giant. Especially the zombie giant.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's not close. It's
Okay.
not close.
Bengals and Redskins. I'm going to continue. Who
I
wins
was ready to like get into that. Could you tell? Like I got excited.
Who wins in a fight?
Anyway, if we want to go further off scale, I saw Andre the Giant when I was a kid. So if you want to like, yeah.
You didn't answer my question. Who wins in a fight, a Bengal or a Redskin, or is that something we can't continue with?
So here's what's important to take away from this game. Joe Mixon looks great. He played 3 snaps and bounced Josh Norman off of the ground with a stiff arm in the very violent way, almost like he was punching something. Can you step in right there? I don't want to keep going.
No.
Okay. All right. Tyler Boyd is going to be the guy. It looks like Josh Malone will be the fill-in for A.J. Green until he returns. But that's really about all to take away. That's a bad offensive line with the Bengals. So not too excited about what they have there. Now, on the other side, Washington.
I do want to talk. There was a lot of backups in this game. I do want to talk a little bit about should Andy Dalton struggle. Ryan Finley is kind of taking a hold of that backup job.
Yeah, new head coaches usually mean new quarterbacks. You know, this regime did not bring in Dalton, and so there's no loyalty. They did bring in Finley, who I was big on. He doesn't have a huge arm, but for that offense, again, think, the Rams and or San Francisco, it's just get the ball to playmakers in space, and Ryan Finley is that to a T. So he fits that very similar to Dalton, but I do think eventually it will be his.
Yeah, so I guess maybe we should address a little bit running backs and backup running backs here. Let's talk about Jordan Ellis a little bit. Kind of catching the ball quite a bit in the preseason. Any takeaways from that, or he's just not going to get enough touches throughout the season?
I don't think that he's actually going to be the backup. I think what they have set up there is Mixon's the guy. Bernard's going to work in some with special teams and on third downs. Travion Williams was in there, but he's been hurt. He's removed. But they still have Rodney Anderson. Rodney Anderson was one of the most talented running backs in the entire country out of OU, but he just kept getting hurt. And he's been hurt through the draft process. But I'm telling you right now, the running back to own after Mixon is Anderson. That's the guy that you're going to want. We haven't seen him yet, but his film was unbelievable, and I guarantee you where they drafted him, he will be the predominant guy if Mixon goes down.
Yeah. So Rodney Anderson over Gio Bernard, who's the 2 on the depth chart?
Yes, I would, because Bernard's going to be the third down guy. So maybe
do you think Ellis even has a roster spot?
He does with Williams hurt. With Travion Williams getting hurt, I think he has one now.
They're going to carry 4 into the season.
I could see that. Bernard, yeah, I could see that.
You think Williams gets cut then?
No, but I could see him going on IR. IR, or you can't put him on PUP because he can't, because he was active during the preseason, so he doesn't qualify.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, maybe he's an IR designated to return kind of guy.
Something
doubt
like
that. He might just be an IR all season. Okay, so Mixon, Bernard, Anderson, then Ellis. I was kind of the mindset maybe just kind of the amount of work that Ellis is getting. Maybe they're just trying to get a good look at him to make sure that he will be carried in to the season.
He looked good, though. He looked good and consistent.
Yeah. I thought maybe he's working towards that third or maybe even second job.
They drafted 2
Bernard
rookies. They drafted 2 guys, in Williams and Anderson, and you got to believe, you spend that draft capital, you want those guys on your roster. And so with Williams' injury, and if he is going to miss significant time, that opens the door for Ellis. But Anderson's going to get the first nod when he's healthy.
Gotcha. All right. Let's move on to our next game here. We've got the Cleveland Browns and the Indianapolis Colts. What exactly is a brown?
It's what you leave in the toilet. Did we just lose a fan base? We are the piss people off of fantasy. You've got to have thick skin to listen to this.
I don't know what to do when you do that. Do I go with it?
What the hell is a brown? I don't know what a brown is.
All right, just
what are the Browns?
Just move on. I'll figure it out.
They're the dogs, right?
But that's their mascot. But that's not what it is.
They're a color. They're a Crayola. They're the Crayolas. I'm making it worse, aren't I? I'm making it worse. Yeah, it's worse. Brito.
Oh, wow. So the Cleveland Browns are actually named after their first coach and general manager, Paul Brown. Wow.
I did not know that.
This is the least interesting thing I've read all day.
Dude, whatever. What if there was a freaking Britos, the fighting Britos?
That's fucking ridiculously bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't play for him.
Me neither. I asked for a trade right off the bat, even if they're my name.
If they did a Brito mascot on the helmet, though, it'd be you on your knees.
No, it'd just probably be like me, but like, are you familiar with the artist Brito?
No.
Romero Brito?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Big in Miami, but okay.
We've gone the wrong way.
Let's like
focus.
really like the last 2 minutes, man. Brutal. We should just cut it, but knowing that Dale's going to edit this show.
It's not going to be cut, so have fun and laugh.
It's not going to be cut. You know what will be cut?
What?
My pubic hair, because I've been using Manscaped. So let's talk about Manscaped real quick.
So here's the thing with Manscaped. One, it's freaking awesome. Head over to manscaped.com. Now, once you figure out whatever it is you want, I strongly recommend getting one of the kits because you get the free little travel pouch, which is cool too. Use the promo code ESF. If you do that, you get 20% off plus free shipping on anything that you order there. And I promise you, this is a product that is made specifically for dudes, and it is absolutely incredible. You get the trimmers, you get the razor, the shampoo and body wash is awesome. They send you mats to put on the floor so that it collects whatever it is that you clean off. So if you're tired of getting nicked in the tidbits, I should coin that phrase, this is what you need to do because you don't have to worry about that anymore. There's no more getting hurt or should I go closer, whatever.
Yes.
It is awesome. So manscaped.com, ESF code.
Before Manscaped ever became a sponsor, I bought them, and here's my personal story. This is kind of off script here. I tried to trim my balls. I got really close with the trimmer.
Did you get too close? Get too close?
I didn't nick my balls. I nicked my shaft. And
you got to replace the golf club after that.
Immediately ordered Manscaped like the next day. It was a scary experience.
It's not worth it. And the product is awesome, and it's not that expensive. And then you add the 20% and the free shipping off there. This is better than getting something off of Amazon Prime.
Dude, the little travel case, by the way, I used it this weekend when I went up to Orlando, and like I put all my little toiletries in there. It's that alone is probably worth it. The fact that you won't nick your private area while shaving or trimming is awesome. My buddy uses it for like grooming his whole body, which is pretty dope if you do that as well. Like you can do that without having to worry about. I'm picturing
your friend as Sasquatch, by the way.
No.
Which it would work for. I recommend this product for Sasquatch. I think it would work well for him.
Yeah.
Increases the size. It looks bigger.
Yes. Everything looks grander. So,
all right.
Let's talk about things that, let's go back to the Colts and Browns. My God. We are all over the place today. Colts, Browns, starter sitting again.
Yeah.
In this game. Takeaways from this game, because even though the starter sat, we still didn't even see much of the team. We did see a little bit of Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt. You don't have to worry about him because he's going to get a long rest. He can just kind of kick it on his own.
Okay, so
also,
then what about D'Ernest? Please tell me how to say his name. D'Ernest Johnson.
Yeah, I believe that is correct. Yeah, he looks good. It's weird. It seems like it's going to be him one week. The next week, it seems like it's going to be Hilliard. We'll have to see who's going to be that the Duke Johnson role. But we'll see there. The one takeaway that I had from this game is Rashard Higgins. He continues to distance himself from everybody for that wide receiver 3 position, which they have on almost all their starting formations. 3 wide receivers, tight end, and running back, or 11 personnel. So Rashard Higgins seems like he's one of those free players you can get in Dynasty that's actually going to put up some decent points. On the Colts side, Andrew Luck was warming up during warm-ups. So for everybody that was really concerned about that injury, pump the brakes. He's going to be just fine. He looked fine. Worst case scenario is he misses week 1. That's it. But I do think Jacoby Brissett is the best backup quarterback in the entire NFL. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's fine.
Almost did a top 5, but I was like,
do it right now.
Top 5 backup quarterbacks go.
Ryan Tannehill is my number 1 since you like to go.
Oh, I do. Thank you. That made me feel good about life.
Brissett is top 5. I feel like we did this list already.
We started it and we stopped, much like you're about to do.
Yeah. So Dallas Cowboys and Los Angeles
Nick
Rams.
Mullins in there. Nick Mullins,
Teddy
Bridgewater,
Teddy Bridgewater was in there for me.
Not until I said it.
Okay, go ahead.
That's it. That was 5.
Let's. Okay, was it?
I think so. Tannehill, Mullins, Brissett, Bridgewater,
Giants.
and Giant. Oh yeah. I put Allen in there. Josh Allen. Or Daniel Jones. They're the same guy.
Wow.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Yes.
Daniel Jones.
Because the backups, 2 of those backups are better than their starters.
Correct.
All right. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Let's talk about Prescott looking awesome.
Yeah, here's the thing. He got 13 snaps. Definitely looked a lot better this week than he did last week. 5 for 5, 65 yards passing. Looked good. Tony Pollard looked great. And most of the things that we have to take away from this game took place off the field with their loudmouth owner, Jerry Jones, talking about Zeke who. Then he got pissed off, and then he came back today and said, I've earned the right to make fun of Zeke, which it's like, what the hell, dude? You ain't earned the right to make fun of a grown man going through a contract dispute. What's wrong with you?
Right.
I disagree. He's Donald Sterling is who he is at the NFL, which
That's
I don't know if,
rough comparison, man.
Really? I think it's the exact comparison. Womanizer, definitely out there on race relations.
Yeah, so
definitely
basically you
treats
just
people,
call them super racist is what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. If that's the way you're going with, okay, then yes.
He acts that way around his players like they're property. I'm not a fan of that.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor make your top 5?
He should. He looked really, really good, actually. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one that's potential.
Okay.
Drew Lock.
Man, he's looked abysmal, and he's injured. He might be on the.
No.
He might not play this year. He might be out for a little bit. They messed up his leg.
Josh Rosen. You hate him.
Josh Rosen's the starter there.
You think he's going to be the starter? No,
Yeah.
he's not. He's not going to be the starter. Not to start the year.
Okay.
We need to do a Dolphins podcast. Okay, let's go back to the Cowboys. I'm sorry.
There's not really much here. The Rams play the fewest amount of starters of any team in the NFL. They did come out today, though, and say they really want Darrell Henderson to get a large amount of snaps, somewhere north of 9 touches a game. But that's what we've expected from the start. So
yes.
Definitely do not move him up. If anywhere, he's going way too soon as of now. So he's going to need more than that to return value because, I mean, if you had to guess off the top of your head, where is he going in average draft position right now? I'm looking at it, but
where does he deserve to go? Like 12th round?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's definitely not where he's going. Guess
he going,
where he is
9th
going.
round?
7th round.
Oof. I would take him in the 9th, though.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But he's going ahead of people: Royce Freeman, Kalen Ballage, Jordan Howard.
Absolutely not.
Devin Singletary. I'd take Devin Singletary. Maybe not. I'm going to back off that one. Anyway. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that game. We didn't have much there.
I'm a little shook by this. I didn't realize he was going so early.
Yeah. Well, he jumped up whenever all the concerns for Todd Gurley were going on.
He's going ahead of Kalen Ballage.
Yeah.
He's going ahead of starters. And he's going ahead of Matt Brito. He's going ahead of Ronald Jones and Peyton. Okay, I get that one. He's going ahead of Duke Johnson. I like Henderson. He's going to get work. It's going to be a great offense, but Gurley's still by far
yeah.
What's Gurley going to go from 90% of the snaps to 80% of the snaps?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just too much. I get the rookie hype. Everybody wants the shiny new toy. You love the offense, but I'm telling you, it's Gurley is the guy to own. Gurley's the guy to own. So, anyway.
Okay. I don't have anything else to say about Henderson. I just think I'm in agreement with you. He's definitely overdrafted.
Yeah.
37th running back off the board in ADP. That's early, man. That's just outside an RB3 in his draft stock. I'm shook right now. I'm
Heard it here first. Brito is shook. Again, and that's the thing. It's not anything against him as a player or his situation. It's just where you're taking him. Man, if Gurley doesn't get hurt, he's not returning value, period.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
I guess maybe people are shooting for the fences, or they're securing an early pick with, a middling to later, stock. But even then, the only logic that I think could support that is you took Gurley. You took him. Maybe you got him in like the second round. I've gotten Gurley a bunch in the second round, and then you pair a second round with a 8th round pick, but you're pretty much locking up first round value.
Yeah, I don't get it.
No. Okay.
No.
I was trying to explain the logic behind it, but
I get what I understand why. I just disagree with it.
Yep.
That's all.
All right. Anything else on this game?
No, we're good there.
Broncos and 49ers.
Yeah, this one was abysmal for the starters. Pressure up front for the 49ers just got absolutely baptized. Jimmy Garoppolo throws an interception. It was just bad.
Jimmy Garoppolo threw as many passes to the Broncos as he did to the 49ers.
Really, he should have had 2 interceptions, to be honest with you.
The second one should have been a pick 6, but it was dropped.
That was a worse pass. Yeah, that was a worse pass.
Yeah.
It was bad. But it was his first game action back since he tore his ACL in Week 3 at Kansas City the previous year. But here's the deal. Bradley Chubb was in his face. He got hit 4 times on 6 pass attempts. It was just bad.
Bradley Chubb has the opportunity to be
the best.
One of the best, if one of the top 5 defensive players in the league this year, because he's added more moves to a repertoire that was already elite in his rookie season.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you there. And I will say this too, shameless plug. If you are a 49ers fan, head over to 49ers Rush podcast. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you got more of me just talking 49ers, 3 to 4 episodes a week.
What the hell, man? Just like shameless plug?
I do shameless plugs for ESF on almost every episode over there.
Wow.
So I feel, why not? High five the way back, son.
If your child lives in the South Florida or Central Florida area and needs therapeutic services, please go to weareuniqueaba.com.
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, that was so good. I really
doubt it, but we are probably the best rated ABA therapy company in South Florida.
That was
good.
And
I pride myself on that.
You should, man. You're good at what you do. Now, I will say on the Denver side, there wasn't really much to take away from. Their starters didn't do great, but, man, their stud first-round pick tight end, Noah Fant, got injured, and it looked bad, lower leg injury, so much so they signed another tight end today. So that could be problematic for the start of the season.
Conflicting reports there, because the initial report was he's going to be fine, and then
they sign a new guy.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on that, because there was a lot of hype, and that hype has died really fast.
Yeah.
So Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans. Who wins in a fight, a Texan or a Lion?
Texan.
Because they have a gun, probably.
They have several guns. Their kids have guns. Everybody has guns.
Just open carry in the middle of a zoo and fucking shoot the lion, apparently.
Cecil, rest in peace.
Okay. So,
sorry.
Do we want to talk about anything here with David Fales or
Fales is correct. No, you said it right.
Fales. I struggle with names, man. Not as much as Armando. He would have called them Fales.
One thing I will say is Jesse James. Actually, let's stay on the other side real quick. Jesse James seems like he got starting reps. Him and TJ are kind of splitting that for Detroit. It seems like they're trying to recreate what happened in New England early on with the 2 tight end set and just pound the freaking ball. Their offensive line is very good in Detroit, but their offense is going to be almost unrecognizable from the past decade. So It's going to be interesting. I really think this is the last year for Matt Patricia there. I don't think it's going to work, but Kerryon Johnson's the only fantasy asset that I really want in Detroit. Kenny Golladay maybe, but my value in him is falling day by day as I see this offense.
Any love for a wide receiver 2 or the tight ends here? Because you did mention, hey, maybe they're going to ride 2 tight end sets.
Hawkinson will be the best fantasy asset there. Marvin Jones obviously is going to get his touchdowns, but outside of that, it's going to be if he scores a touchdown, you're happy. If he doesn't, he won't. I don't have him projected to get more than 6, so if you're starting him, it's one of
Marvin
those bye-week
Jones
villains.
Currently, his ADP is number 30, wide receiver 36, so he's the last of the wide receiver 3s. Do you feel like he exceeds that at the very least?
I think he could finish that in rankings, maybe. But again, he's one of those guys you're going to start him, and he's going to have 2 catches for 12 yards, or he's going to have like 3 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. So they're not the type of guys that I target. Maybe, I don't target those guys.
If he plays 15 or 16 games, which prior to last season he only played 9 games.
Right.
The 3 years before that, he played 15, 16, and 16 games. If he can do that, he's obviously not the guy in the offense that he was when he was 26 or 27. He's going to be 29 now this year. But I still think he's still young enough. I think people are thinking that Marvin Jones is done. He's not done, to me. I think he will exceed draft value.
Oh, I like
5 touchdowns in 9 games last year. If he can be there on the field all year, which I don't think there's anything in his track record to suggest that he won't be, he's going to be there 15 or 16 games this year. He typically will play even if he's a little banged up. I'm more along the lines of a bounce-back season for Marvin Jones. He's a guy that I have put my vote of confidence behind in years past, and now I'll do it again in 2019. I'm going to say Marvin Jones sees more than 100 targets, sees somewhere around 60 catches, and close to, not quite, but close to double-digit touchdowns.
If that's the case, he'll be a wide receiver 2, high-end wide receiver 2. So I like that.
I'm going to get Marvin Jones in a lot of leagues this year.
I like it. Stake your claim.
So that'll pretty much do it here for our week 2 wrap-up here. If you want to stay tuned for the second part of that, stay tuned to our next episode. And that will do it for us today. So, guys, the bad news here is that we didn't even fucking get close to getting through all these games within our time constraint. The good news is, stay tuned for the next pod. We'll finish recapping all of these games. You're going to get an extra pod here. Have a good night, and we'll see you on episode 2.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, fantasy. You rockin' with the best. NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We talking mock drafts, running backs. Better follow the conversation with
John,
Dale, Christian, and Armando. Screaming Eat Nation. We doing what we like. Tune in every week. Guarantee we get it hype. Fantasy football enthusiasts. I know you plan to be joining us on Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Yeah. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Eat, Sleep, Fantasy.